Hi, I'm Zoya, and this is That Red Tape, and we're here with Teno Jocelyn. She's a singer, and over to you.
Hello, I'm a musician here in Lethbridge, Alberta, primarily electronic music, and yeah.
Okay, so what was growing up like?
I guess I spent a lot of time in choir through grade school. That was kind of where I got all of my, I guess you want to say, technical foundation for singing, like learning how to breathe properly, tone and pitch and all those things, and I took voice lessons as well. I don't ever recall there being like a ton of cultural things here or like music festivals and things like there are now. Yeah, so it's a different Lethbridge than it is now.
So you grew up like you spent all of your childhood here in Lethbridge, right?
Yeah, I think probably till I was about 21, 22, and then I lived in Calgary for 4 years, and then I moved out to Winnipeg, and then I moved back here in 2015.
Okay, so you were just saying about the cultural festivals and the more musical stuff here in Lethbridge now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of differences between the Lethbridge you grew up in and the
I would say.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like apart from that, like what else do you think is much more different with the Lethbridge of now and the Lethbridge you grew up in?
Oh, I don't know. I've noticed a lot of cool little like shops and restaurants and different things popping up. It's just we're kind of starting to get more interesting things going on here. Lots more festivals in the park. We have the Casa space now. Like I feel like we're just kind of moving towards a little bit more embracing the arts. It's probably still smaller than it could be, but I definitely see a lot of movement in that direction, and which is really awesome to see and really positive because I think we need more of that here. Yeah.
Okay. So how and when did your interest in music start? Have you always been interested in music?
I think I sang as like a little girl. I always asked my parents that, and I always was this singing happy little person, I think. And I remember in like grade 5, there was these choir auditions, and I auditioned for this solo part in a song, and I don't know, that just feels like some kind of pivotal moment for me because from then onward I just always was singing, and I all through junior high, all through high school, and it just always was something I loved to do, so it just kind of came naturally, and yeah, it feels good. Yeah.
So how did your musical journey move along here in Lethbridge? Was it kind of difficult?
I never really started writing and recording here. That kind of started in Calgary. I think that would have been like 2010, 2011 was when I was working for an agency up there that was doing a project with kids that had them writing raps. And so I was kind of a chaperone for this group, and so we were spending all this time in a studio space where the kids were recording, and I kind of got to talking with the studio owner, and it just kind of came along that we decided we were going to work on a project together, and that was really the first time I ever was in a studio space ever, so I think that was kind of the launch point, and then when I moved out to Winnipeg, it kind of continued there. And then I've been able to find like a small kind of dedicated group of musicians here too, coming back.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you have your own little team here in Lethbridge?
Yeah, it's how that happened is I actually was looking to start another project, another album, and I was looking for somebody to help me with production and mastering, and so I put out a post on the Lethbridge Musicians page on Facebook and got a couple hits back and met with a couple of people and connected with a fellow who was kind of my in to this circle. I'd been loving electronic music and house for several years, so that was kind of his genre and his vein and what I was looking to do creatively, so he introduced me to his friends, and now kind of here I am.
So you've always loved EDM and house music and stuff, right?
Not always. I think I started as like with more of an R&B jazz sensibility. Like I've always loved, I love Alicia Keys. I've always loved Whitney Houston, like just kind of those really strong female voices. And I don't really know what the point was when I started loving house and dance music. I guess just, well, I was a fitness instructor at the time, so I was listening to a lot of up-tempo, like, dance stuff. And then I just fell in love with house. And I feel like a lot of house has, like, just that strong four-on-the-floor beat with, like, an R&B vocal often over it. So it wasn't really that far of a stretch from what I originally started loving. So, yeah, and now I've sort of gone into liking more ambient stuff, like just some different deviations, I guess, of electronic music. Yeah.
So, your musical influences right now, like talking about people, you would say
Sure.
who?
I still am drawn to like strong female vocals, I think. There's a band out of the UK called London Grammar that has Hannah Reid is their lead lady, and she's got a really amazing voice. I love Azealia Banks. I love groups like Vault. And a lot of them I've just kind of found through listening to different streams and playlists on Google Play, and you just hear a sound and you love it, and then you're like, yeah, I want to write something that sounds like that. Yeah.
So you mentioned Azealia Banks and Hannah Reid as your musical influences and people that you look up to. So given where they are now with your musical careers and where you are now, what would you hope to emulate with them, and what would you hope to achieve, like, according to those standards?
I think one of the most important things that guides how I write now is making the kind of music I want to hear. And I think in the past I would just write songs that, oh great, it's finished and whatever, but did I even check if I really liked it, or like if it was something that I would want to play in my car? I know that sounds weird, but that's kind of what I live by now. And so anything I don't love, I throw it in the garbage. So I guess what I'm getting to is just quality. I want the production to sound right. I want it to sound like something you'd want to listen to over and over again, like something you'd want to dance to, or something, most importantly, I think, that evokes emotion in whoever's listening. Like, you have to feel something when you're listening to it is kind of my policy, I think.
So what about them inspires you? Like, is it something from their personal lives, or do you know more about these people personally or musically?
Well, I think it's that their music sounds not really that mainstream to me. I think there's always this pull as an artist to want to sound relevant and be doing what's popular and trendy at the time, but also not being afraid to experiment and make a song that sounds weird or doesn't follow like a verse, chorus, verse kind of setup. Like, just having the freedom to, make a song that you want to hear instead of what might, I don't know, make like a top popular list or something like that. Yeah, so I think just the individuality piece or the creativity piece is probably what I would say I look to in those artists.
So, your second studio album, Seasons, I read that it was influenced by the eponymous title, right? Seasons.
Yeah.
So, what experiences led to that decision?
I think I was looking to put out a project that, as I say, was really kind of emotional, and that you could hear the emotion in the music. Like, I really wanted to put more of myself into the songs. I think that's one of the things that I struggled with doing choir all of those years, is when you're trying to blend your voices with other people, you want to sound perfect and you want to have like this perfect pitch and tone, but there's so many other qualities of voice, like those little imperfections or that little scratch at one particular spot that gives a song so much character. So I really tried to, I guess, push myself in that direction, like to not have it be so perfect, to have it sound expressive and interesting and yeah, just to kind of capture those little moments when you're recording that make it kind of a unique piece. Yeah.
Interesting. So the song Pretend from the album was chosen as one of the top 10 finalists for the Canadian Songwriting Competition in the
Yeah.
category. So how did you feel about that? Is it a deeply personal song to you?
Yeah, I was actually really excited about that. I, like all artists, I think I get kind of shy about putting when you've poured your heart and soul into something and then you kind of put it out there to get judged, it's always a little bit, but yeah, I just kind of went for it and was like, I have nothing to lose, I only have something to gain here. So yeah, I was really happy that it made it as far as it did. Like, I didn't make top 3, but I made top 10, and I was really pleased with that. I thought that was a cool reward for the writing that I did. So yeah.
So coming from your first album, Eclectic, which came out in 2012,
Yep.
and Seasons, which came out last year, there's like a 5-year space in between them.
Yeah.
So how do you think you've grown musically and personally and just
yeah.
moved along?
Well, shit happened in 5 years. I think I just took a lot of the emotion out of my personal experience and tried to pour it into my songwriting more, and tried to let a little bit more of myself as a person come out in the music, because I feel like that's what people connect to, right? They want something relatable. I think that's why we listen to music, is because it makes us feel a way, right? Or evokes a certain kind of emotion in us. And so I think I was really trying to find more of a signature sound that felt like me for this particular project, and just tried not to be scared, just to like give her and not have it be perfect and have it be expressive and interesting and fun. So I think that's probably the biggest difference. Yeah.
So what are the similarities and the differences in the making of both albums, like throughout the journey?
The first album, I really had somebody help me with a lot of the writing. I guess I would consider myself mostly a vocalist, so I don't really play a lot of instruments. I play like a little bit of piano to help me with my songwriting, but so I really needed a lot of help with instrumentation and percussion, and so I had somebody at the studio help me do all of those things. So I don't want to say I was really hands off, but definitely had a lot more help. Whereas this project, I just kept thinking, why do I need to wait for somebody to make this happen? Why do I need somebody to help me? I'll just learn how to do it myself. And I had a friend back in Winnipeg who said, why don't you just rent a USB microphone? You can record a ton of stuff like on your computer or through your iPad or whatever. So I tried it and it was really easy to do. And I kind of started watching like YouTube videos on how to do it. And so I think that's a point of pride for me, that everything from the writing to the production was like I did that all myself. And it isn't perfect. Definitely not perfect, but I just feel like I did that and I made that happen for myself. And so that's really rewarding, I think, just to, yeah.
I think it's pretty close to perfect because I
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
So just outside of the music stuff, what do you do when you're not making music?
What do I do when I'm not making music? Well, I'm a student at the moment, still trying to finish my undergrad in psychology, so I'm usually studying. Or what else do I do? All summer long, I like tennis. I like being an active person. I'm outside walking, hiking, biking, swimming a lot. I love books. I love film. I like to paint. It's kind of, yeah, just different things that keep me moving. Yeah.
Okay, so at what point do you hope to reach in your musical career and you're like, oh yeah, I'm there?
I'm there. How will I know when I get there? That's a great question. I think I would like to do a lot more, like having my music show up in TV and film. Actually, one of the songs off of the Eclectic album was picked up by Style Network on the Tia and Tamara show. So that was kind of a cool experience that just kind of was random because the album was on iTunes, and I think that's how they found it. And so it would be really cool to get more placements of music so that, what I write could show up in TV and film. And I don't see myself really being a touring musician. I don't know if that really interests me at this point, but I just love the creative part. I love collaborating with other people to write songs, and I love the recording part. And so I think, I don't know, how will I know when I'm there? I'd love to put out another body of work. I think that would be my next goal. Yeah, like an EP or something really cool with like another electronic vibe maybe. Yeah.
Interesting. So apart from your musical dreams, what other dreams do you have?
Probably traveling would be my biggest thing. I love to travel. I love going other places and kind of being in other cultures. I love food. So probably like Europe or the South Pacific. I'd love to go to New Zealand or Fiji or just explore around. I never really did the backpacking thing after university the first time around. So I'd love to just take a bunch of time and go travel and see the world. Yeah.
So interesting. So it was really nice talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.